I think Dominic Breazeale has got a lot of confidence. He's unbeaten. He's got a perfect record. As Johnny said, he was at the Olympics, so there's pedigree there as well. And I think he also wants to try and right a wrong that happened a few weeks ago. You know, Charles Martin came over as the unbeaten hope, the new world champion, and obviously it was a terrible night for him, and I think for American boxing. And I think Dominic Breazeale wants to do it. And I think the fact that Showtime have announced this multi-fight deal, and obviously we're well behind Anthony Joshua and his journey. I think Breazeale likes the fact that he could tear it all up on June the 25th, so it has some spice.
And he didn't seem insulted when they were talking about this future deal with Showtime and things like that, because as a fighter you'd sit there and think in your head, I'm going to tear that right up. That's not going to happen, because he's thinking those trappings will come to him if he turns Anthony Joshua over. So but you like the talk of these big contracts, big TV deals out there, because it could be him in that position after the fight.
Well, I mean, as well, a lot of people obviously are thinking it's another hand-picked fight for Joshua, just another American, although he's undefeated. Still just hand-picked for
Can I just say
easy
something
win.
on that? Anthony Joshua has boxed this will be his fourth unbeaten fight consecutively. Number one. Number two, his last few fights when he boxed Dylan White, it was a big shout. It was a tough. It was close to the bone. Then he was getting in with Charles Martin. People saying it's too early for him. Now he's become champion. He's got a voluntary defence against an unbeaten heavyweight who's supposed to be the future of American boxing. And just because we're not familiar with him, just because we don't know him, doesn't give anybody a right to knock him. Why? What you're saying? Put Anthony Joshua in with another dangerous fight. As champion, you have grace, and his grace, he could have picked a fighter that didn't have an unbeaten record.
Can I just add there that everyone's tied up as well?
Yeah.
You know, Joseph Parker's got his fight with Takam, Fury and Klitschko. You know, Deontay Wilder's going to Russia to fight Povetkin.
This is next big stop.
You know, this is the way the heavyweight division is thriving at the moment. There's fantastic fights out there. These fights will happen. You know, Anthony Joshua, people said he was mad to step up and fight Charles Martin.
That was one of them.
Only fight number 16. He said he was. I didn't think it was a big risk. I'd seen Joshua fight Martin fight Glasgow in Brooklyn. I didn't think it was a major issue, but there were people that did think that. And now he's won the world title. You know, he needs to mature. You know, he needs to fight all sorts of different opponents with different styles, so that he's ready for the mega fights with the likes of Tyson Fury, David Haye, and Deontay Wilder.
How else do you get preparation for something like that? And that's why the general public have got to understand you fight all shapes and sizes to prepare you for those deep fights. And this is no pushover.
Yeah, don't forget
Dylan. In his last fight, he got put down, came back and broke the guy's jaw.
Exactly. And don't forget, Dylan White rocked Anthony Joshua in the second round, and things are going to be very different. So, I think this is a perfect match for his first defence. I really do.
And if Anthony thinks like the general public, then we have a problem. You know, the general public need to respect Breazeale and think this could be a tough one, because this kid gets hit, he gets up, he wants to fight. So you never know. Joshua could put him down, and the fight's not over as we all expect it. Yeah, and it could be vice versa as well.
I mean, moving on slightly to other fights, obviously. This weekend we've got Crawler going up against Breazeale. Obviously that's a massive fight, not getting much in the way of media. How do you guys see that one going?
It's a huge fight for Anthony Crawler. He's had a huge year, hasn't he? Fairy tale stuff, going from the have-a-go sort of hero, from the nightmare of the burglary and what happened to him that he might not have ever fought again, to the controversial draw, to winning the world title with a left hook that his hero Ricky Hatton would have been proud of at the Manchester Arena. Now straight back into the thick of it with Ismael Barroso, who's a dangerous puncher, tough guy. But I'm of the belief that Anthony Crawler's improved, and his defence is much cuter and tighter now, and I think if he finds a way of getting through the early 4 or 5 rounds, I think he can defend his title, but it's going to be tough.
Crawler has consistently surprised me when I thought he's going to be in a tough fight, when I thought he was going to lose. His boxing ability has got him through. He's got underrated boxing ability. So even though Barroso can bang, being a puncher means Jack Diddley. If someone can box well in front of you, he's got the movement, he's got the youth, he's got the speed. It is a tough fight, but it's not an impossible task for Anthony Crawler. And again, Anthony Crawler may step up again. Now he's champion. He may feel like a champion and box like a champion, and we might see something different, special from him.
Well, I mean, on the complete flip side, same night, across the pond, Amir Khan against Canelo, massive fight. Most people don't give him hopes at all whatsoever, no chance. Personally, I think he's got a very good chance. You guys, have you seen that one going?
I think it's very tough giving no hope to a guy who won an Olympic silver medal and has won most of his professional fights. You know, Amir Khan's got tremendous speed, talent, ability. I think it's all about his legs. I think that he was terrific against Devon Alexander, but that was at welterweight, and really they're two, blown up like welters, to be honest. This is a huge step up in weight. Now, if Amir's okay around the middleweight limit, like middleweight, and his legs are okay, that's the key. I think that he can. If it's a 3-round fight, Khan wins. If it's a 6-round fight, I think Khan wins. Over 12 rounds, it's a really, really hard ask. It's all about his legs and his movement. I think Canelo is beatable, as we've seen with Mayweather, and one or two others have given him a tough, close call. But he's still young. His timing and his jab are good, so I expect probably Alvarez to come through. But I think you can't write off Khan.
This is down to discipline for Amir Khan. If he stick to the game plan Virgil Hunter has set for him, which is box, don't get involved, use your hand speed, use your boxing ability, he beats him hands down, surprisingly. But I can see this fight being Canelo coming from behind and catching up to Amir Khan if he fails to stick to the game plan. Canelo can bang, he can punch. I don't think he's as fast as Amir Khan. I don't think his boxing ability, technical ability, is better than Amir Khan's. But because he's so fresh, he's so young, and he's so strong, this is why we're all leaning towards him. But you look at how Mayweather beat him. With pure speed, and Amir Khan's he's not got the cuteness and the slickness as Mayweather, but he needs to use pure speed, fleet of foot, and that's it. And if he doesn't do that, it's lights out.
Our colleague Ed Robinson mentioned something to me a few weeks ago about there being too many ifs in this fight. The fact that Khan's been out for a long time. If he's not got the ring rust. Chris Algieri wasn't a great performance. That was his last fight. If he's plateaued a bit, can he deal with the weight? It's a big if, and I think against Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo weekend with Oscar De La Hoya, looking at a fight obviously with Golovkin, or a big marquee fight for Alvarez, they'll have planned pretty perfectly for this. We know that scripts could be written up, boxing plans and all the best laid things could go right out the window, but Amir Khan's going to need the performance of his life to win this.
And Amir Khan, just remember, every time he respects and fears a fighter, that is when he boxes to the best of his ability. Devon Alexander, Zab Judah, and that's when he's boxed outstanding. So just remember, he'll have that. He'll be full of fear. He'll be full of nerves. He'll be full of energy, and he will stick to a game plan. And that's when I think this will be the best we've seen of Amir Khan.
Just to finish on, obviously we've heard this morning rumours of Eddie Hearn initiating talks with Peter Fury for a November or possibly early next year clash between Joshua and Fury. Do you think that's a bit too early? Do you think it's a bit too hasty? How would you see that one panning out? And obviously, is Fury going to get past Vlad again?
Listen, was Charles Martin too hasty? Boxing moves very quickly. I think in an ideal world, we'll be looking probably at Joshua Fury next summer. In an ideal world, give it a bit of time to breathe. He's got to get past Klitschko first. Maybe he'd have one more, and Joshua would have 2 or 3, and then they fight. But this game works in funny ways, and if it's right and it can be made, no reason why it can't be made in November. Where would you do it though? Would you do it in the Millennium? That's the biggest indoor arena, obviously, with the roof. It's too big a fight, isn't it, for the Manchester Arena or the O2? You'd have thought it could sell out Wembley, but that'll have to wait till next May. So my guess is that it will wait a bit longer. I don't believe Tyson Fury will retire after the Vladimir Klitschko fight, but I do believe Klitschko's got a real chance. I think that we were at ringside all around the first fight. I think Fury spooked him. I think that there was all sorts of things that happened on the week that Vladimir wasn't in control of, especially the ring canvas on the day. I think he just was slightly confused by the style and the aura of Tyson Fury. If Vitaly's got into his head and Vladimir comes out and throws a little bit of caution to the wind, sort of taking away what he's learned for years and years under that Emmanuel Stewart style, and sort of go back to basics, get the combinations flying, I think it could be a very, very competitive fight. If he sticks and doesn't do what he did, and really, doesn't get the hands moving like he did in the first fight, I think Fury should win again. As far as the Fury-Joshua fight, I'd be surprised if it was made this year, but you never know.
I think with this fight here, if Tyson Fury had trained with the same intensity as he did the first fight for the Klitschko fight, I'd say hands down he's won. Again, he'd probably even stop him.
Do you think he's finished, Klitschko?
He's not finished, but I don't think he'll beat Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury will beat him probably on points, but he could have done it. He could beat him in a better fashion if he prepared in the same fashion he did for their first fight. So this now determines how he wins, because he knows he wins. He's taller, he's younger, he's got a lot more energy, he's got a lot more movement. I know when you get closer to 40, you slow down. No matter what your brain is telling you, no matter what experience you've got, your body is not going to kick in out. It needs to kick in. And I think Vladimir is at that stage where he knows he has the ability to beat him, but unfortunately, time is slowing him down. He's not finished, but it's slowing him down.
Yeah. I mean, in that respect as well, I mean, you said obviously Vlad is going to have to throw caution to the wind, even just the tiniest of bits to stand a chance of upsetting him. But do you think that could also play into Fury's hands?
I don't know. I don't think Tyson Fury's the biggest puncher, but I think he's very awkward, very difficult. I think his punches sting. Look, we've seen Fury go down to Steve Cunningham. We didn't think he'd pull it off when he did in Germany. That was an amazing win. One of the great wins. But I sort of got the sense, it was funny, not till the day of the fight did I suddenly get the feeling that we might be onto something here. Because there was something in the air, the way he was dealing with the whole ring canvas issue, the fact that when he walked to the ring, it was sort of, I think Glenn McCrory said Holyfield-esque when Holyfield came in against Tyson, singing away. The guy had no fear, he had no respect, he went in there and he did his job, and he was terrific. Whether he could do that again, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, as Johnny says, if he trains hard, he should be able to do it again. But I've got to expect a better Klitschko. But it may not be that, at his age, that there may not be much left in the tank. If it's a better Klitschko, it will be a really, really interesting fight.
Just to end on then, June 25th, what are your predictions? Is it going to be another one where he gets blown out in a few rounds? Do we think he's going to go a bit further, possibly the furthest he's gone so far?
Well, I'm a big fan of Anthony's power, and I think anybody he hits and hits clean, they stay hit. So if Dominic Breazeale isn't smart enough and sharp enough to deal with that, yes, I agree with you. But Breazeale he has pedigree. He knows him from back in amateur days. He knows what to expect. He saw what happened to Charles Martin. He's going to make sure that doesn't happen with him. So he's going to come with a lot more self-belief, confidence, and caution. So it's down to Breazeale to decide how this fight plans out.
Two big punches, a firecracker, one not to be missed, and a terrific night as well as the O2. As I said up on the dais, they're becoming special events. Top to bottom of quality fights, action, stars like Conor Benn coming through. We've got a great fight with Martin Murray and George Groves to support the big one. But I think that's what it will be, a big heavyweight clash, and I think it will end by knockout. And you've got to think it will be Anthony Joshua, but we just don't know yet what Dominic Breazeale will bring to the party. Let's hope it's something fun.
Well, yeah, let's hope so. Cheers for that, gents.
You're welcome.